What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Nintendo Land, and Wave 4 for the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Pass had just dropped. But of course, you know what that means. We are back at it predicting the next wave, and it's getting kind of sad because we only have 2 waves left, and then we're done with Mario Kart DLC. Yeah, it's kind of like the Smash Bros treatment where we're about to say goodbye and move forward with the series and probably start speculating the next Mario Kart game once again. But today, we're here to talk about Wave 5, and I'm going to give you my predictions for what I think Wave 5 is going to be. Not only the tracks, but now the additional characters. We don't know how many characters are coming in what, because we know we just have 5 left with 2 different waves left. So I'm saying there's going to be 2 characters in this wave and 3 in the final wave. But I'm going to talk to you guys about my predictions and explain each one. But the only thing that we do know is the slots of what tracks these games are coming from. So I know a lot of people say they don't know if the data mine is going to be true. It has been pretty much 100% correct, waves 1 through 4. Now the only thing is Nintendo has swapped some around, like Bangkok Rush and also Maple Treeway on the Wii. So these are the actual numbers we have left. We have 1 Super Mario Kart track left, 1 Super Circuit track, 3 Double Dash, 2 Mario Kart Wii, 5 tours, and apparently 4 new ones. Now the only other things that might change is the exact spots in each wave, like the Wii and GameCube or Wii and SNES tracks might switch for the different cups, but for the most part we know what's going to be in each wave, so I'm just going to keep these slots the same and tell you what I think is going to be in each slot. But if you enjoyed the video and the predictions, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and all things Nintendo in general. Now without further ado, let's jump into the video. Coming in at number 1, I put LA Laps because it's the first tour track, and we always start these cups with a tour track. It's one of the few ones left. The only other one we have left is Vancouver Velocity, and personally I think that is going to be the very last cup, or really the very last wave of this DLC, since it is that snow theme, and I think the leaks even suggested that it was going to be at the end of the DLC, unless they change it again, because we know they can change it. But LA Laps, I think this is a really cool one because the city is on the edge of a beach, and you get to go through like a boardwalk, go underneath the boardwalk towards the water. There's even like a little oil field and stuff you get to go through, and up a giant mountain in the background. I think the whole vibes and the sunset of this place is really cool, even though personally I can't stand the music of the people going da 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 da. I don't know, I just don't like it. But the actual track itself is really cool, and I think it makes sense for the summertime as well. It just kind of feels like that summer track, once again with the pier and the boardwalk and the giant Ferris wheel. I just love the way this city track feels compared to really any of the city tracks we've gotten so far. It definitely changes things up, and it's a lot different. I think this is going to be a really good way to start the wave, and I think it's a really nice track. Number 2, one of the last Wii tracks we will probably get, which is very unfortunate because we only have 2 left, and I think right now the last one is rumored to be Rainbow Road to end the entire DLC because it's the last Wii track and the last track in that cup and in that wave, so that means we have one other besides Rainbow Road, and it really only leaves us between a couple. That would be Koopa Cape, Toad's Factory, and Daisy Circuit, and as much as I would love to see Toad's Factory again, Koopa Cape is 100% going to get it. It's also in Tour. It is a beautiful track that takes you through a riverway all the way throughout the track, and even underground and underwater in a tubing area, which is really cool. It's just one of those Wii tracks that people love. The soundtrack is fitting. It's an amazing track, and once again, it does kind of scream summer, and it's just a track that I have no doubt in my mind will be added in this DLC, and I would be very upset if I'm wrong. I mean, yeah, there's also other tracks like Moonview Highway, which definitely could deserve it, but with all these city tracks, I don't think we're getting any more. Coming in at number 3, we have Sunset Wilds from Super Circuit, and it's one of the last few tracks I think from that game that kind of just really makes sense. And of course, this was leaked. This was leaked a while ago. I think people saw it in the actual image, and yeah, this is probably coming, which is a very classic feeling track. It takes you through the desert, and it has that Calamari desert feel, which I was a little surprised that this one was actually coming as well. I don't have too many complaints. It is a nice classic track, and sometimes those classic tracks really do feel great in Mario Kart 8, and they just look really pretty, but I don't think it was revamped enough to be anything super crazy, so it is a nice little addition. We don't have many desert tracks either within this DLC, so this is definitely a good kind of mixture after having a lot of water probably in this wave. Also, what's really cool is Sunset Wilds actually turns into like nighttime wilds, where it gets dark and the moon comes out, so I would love to see that implemented in Mario Kart 8 as well, which would be awesome. Now right now we are out of city tracks. I mean, obviously you have Vancouver Velocity, but if we're saving that for the next wave, Nintendo Nintendo needs to give us some more city tracks for this to make sense, because we know we're ending one with the Feather Cup. But in that data mine, there were 2 tracks that had abbreviations and one that actually had assets with it. So the first one was Mob MD, when a lot of people thinking that this could be Madrid because we had BK for Bangkok Rush and we had SI for Singapore. So there's a chance that MD could be Madrid. We don't know for sure, but it's a possibility. And the other one was Mob AT with pillar assets. So I guess stone pillars or something. And a lot of people think this could be Athens, Greece. So we can use those 2 to help us here. So I'm saying Madrid could be the first one, or technically Greece could as well, but I'm going Madrid for the sake of this video. Madrid is very much castle-like, very classical buildings in style to the city. And I feel like we'll be spending a lot of time within the actual city itself. Unlike some of the other tracks in some of the other cities where we kind of go outside the city into the surrounding city, but we'll be spending a lot of time probably in the streets in between different buildings and stuff. I don't have a lot to say with this one. We'll see what Nintendo does with it. Starting the Double Cherry Cup, we have the last city track of the wave. I'm going with the second one that's been leaked and kind of hinted at, which was Athens, Greece, which I think would be really cool. It's a different take. It's more ancient architecture, more classical, and I really like that instead of like the modern cities and stuff we've seen. I think that could be really, really cool. Maybe even some pillars could fall over or something. I don't know. Or we could go into some type of like classic Colosseum or something would be really, really cool. But what if they don't even choose classic Greece? What if instead we go to kind of more modern Greece, where we can race down very tight alleyways and around the mountainside, which would be beautiful by the water? I mean, seriously, that would be amazing. Mario Kart YouTuber SwiftJar actually brought up how there's pyramids on the cover art for Mario Kart Tour, and how everything else on that cover art is already in the game besides anything with the pyramids. So maybe Cairo could be an actual city, and maybe we could even race around some pyramids or something like that. I still feel like Africa needs some representation, with South Africa's Cape Town would be really cool, once again by the water and some mountain ranges within the city. But maybe even an African savanna would be amazing to see, just kind of driving through the grass areas and seeing different animals walking by would be an awesome thing to add to this game. But for the sake of getting out some of the leaked tracks first and then worrying about the extras later, I'm just going to say Athens, Greece could start the Double Cherry Cup. Next, we have a Double Dash track coming up, and I chose Daisy Cruiser. Now, we still have Dino Jungle, Mushroom Bridge, DK Mountain, Peach Beach, Dry Desert, Mushroom City if they want to do another city track, and of course Bowser's Castle and Rainbow Road. But I think Daisy Cruiser just makes a lot of sense here. It is a really good track, a fan-loved track, and it's also based, once again, it kind of gives you that summer vibe, like you're on a cruise in the middle of the summer. It's just perfect, and I think it fits well with everything in this cup and in this wave in general, and I think it'd be a beautiful track to see return once again. We've seen this track multiple times, and once again, it is a fan favorite, driving through the cruise ship, going below deck and back above, and driving through the swimming pool within the boat and stuff. It's really cool. It feels really dynamic, and it's different because it's a boat. You're driving on a boat that's also moving back and forth, and things move on the boat. It's just a really cool concept that definitely needs to return in Mario Kart 8. Next up, we have our SNES track, and that will probably be Vanilla Lake. Why? Well, there's already in-game advertisement for Vanilla Lake, and like in the very first wave, we got advertisement for this place, and there's not many other options to really choose from. I mean, you got Koopa Troopa Beach, Ghost Valley, which we already have Boo Lake, so it wouldn't really make sense, and then Bowser's Castle, and then maybe Choco Island, but for the most part, you know, it just, come on, it's Vanilla Lake, and we've already got this track in Tour as well. I don't know how I feel about it. I feel like it almost feels like Snowland, but worse, based on just the stuff that I've seen, and I don't know, the new updated revamped version of this track just feels like the same exact track, just with better graphics, and it just doesn't seem like anything special, like we're just racing around a slippery lake with ice cubes in the way. So I'm not a huge fan of what I've seen so far, but maybe, you know, Nintendo changed it up a little bit for the 8 version, who knows, but we'll just have to wait and see. But this is probably 100% a track that's coming, and also changes it up a little bit from the water kind of summer theme that we've had so far, and gives something else, and a little bit of a taste of snow before we get into probably some more snow tracks coming later in the year. And then we once again end the cup and wave with a new track, or a Nitro track, and that's probably going to be Piranha Plant Cove, the new Nitro track added to Mario Kart Tour already, and probably getting ready to be coming to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Now there's other options we have. For instance, we have files showing some type of bathroom track with assets like bath bombs and rubber duckies, and it's also called Mob mob BR. So we know a bathroom track is coming, but I feel like Nintendo wants to give us some space because they just gave us a brand new Yoshi's Island track. We're probably not going to see that until the end of all of this DLC. But there's also a mob DK track, which could be a new Donkey Kong track, which would also make sense to add a new Donkey Kong character. But simply, I'm going for the fact that I think Nintendo is just going to throw in this track that they've already put in Tour, and it just makes a lot of sense. Once again, it does kind of feel summer themed. I really love this track. It looks amazing. You go in the water, you can go back out and up on the mountain area and down kind of like this tiki village type of thing. It reminds me of Lureland Village from Breath of the Wild, and I love everything about that with like the torches and everything at night. It's another awesome track that goes with that summer vibe, and I think it's going to be a great way to end Wave 5 and get ready for the final wave. And that right there is your Wave 5 predictions of what I think could be coming to the game. Now, before we wrap up and before we end everything, of course, I want to talk about characters, because now characters are on the line, and I'm going to give 2 characters today, and I kind of based these characters based off of the tracks that I picked. That comes from the starting track and the ending track with LA Labs and Piranha Plant Cove. Let me explain my character choices. The first character I chose is Hammer Bro. Now, I know some people are saying this one, some people aren't, but I'm going to tell you, first off, I picked this character because I freaking love Hammer Bro. I play Mario only. Always only Mario. My friends are like, what is it going to take for you to choose a different character? Well, Hammer Bro. I loved him in Mario Party 8, I believe it was, and I just love this character overall. And I think this character should definitely return. He is in Mario Kart Tour, and he has many different variants with Boomerang Bro, Fire Bro, and even Ice Bro, and you can even choose your color, which would be awesome, just like Birdo, and I think it would make a lot of sense. Also, why did I choose this based on LA Labs? Well, he was the original sponsor or kind of go-to character that was in the advertisements for LA Labs before LA Labs eventually decided to go with Charge and Chuck. Now, I just don't think Charge and Chuck is going to make the cut, but there's a very good chance that I think we see Hammer Bro here with its different alts, and I think that would be a great character to add to this game. And then I think the second character will be Petey Piranha because of Piranha Plant Cove, and once again, a fan favorite that definitely should return. We got Birdo back from Double Dash, let's get Petey Piranha back from Double Dash. It only makes sense. So yes, I think this theme's perfectly, I mean, the track has literally got pictures and statues of Petey Piranha's head all over the track. Like, it's gonna happen. So I think this just makes a lot of sense. This is probably gonna be the one that gets mainly advertised for that wave, and yeah, I will be very shocked if Petey Piranha doesn't end up in this game. This is the one I'm pretty much 100% sure about. It just makes sense. Those are my track and character predictions for Wave 5. Of course, these are just my predictions. I'm probably going to be wrong, but these are what I think Nintendo could possibly be doing. Let me know in the comments down below if you have any other changes that you would like to add, or any other tracks that you would like to add, or characters that you think could make it. Trust me, I know Diddy Kong and Funky Kong fans that those, or at least one of those characters, will make it into the game, but there's not really any Donkey Kong tracks I predicted right now. For instance, DK Mountain on the GameCube will probably happen either this wave or next wave, but when it does, probably expect a Donkey Kong character. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Mario Kart and Nintendo in general. And like always, I will see you all on the next one. See you guys.